So hello everyone. We'll solve a LeetCode problem today based on our question first unique character in a string. So it's pretty self-explanatory. The question is that we need to find the first unique character that appears in our string. So given a string S, find the first not repeating character in it and return its index. So the main point to note here is that the character should be not repeating and we have to return its index inside the string. So for example, let's just take if it does not exist, we have to return -1. So for example, let's take S is equal to LeetCode. So LeetCode is our string that is given as an input. So L stands it's in the index 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it goes up to index 7 and we are going to return the character that is not repeating. That's first not repeating character. So we see that E is repeating and is L repeating? No, it's not repeating. So that is our first not repeating character. So we return the index of L, which is 0. For the next example, we see that L is repeating here. L love LeetCode. So L is here as well as L is also in the fifth index. 0, 1, 2, 3, sorry, fourth index. So L is in the fourth index and we see that L is repeating twice. So we do not print the index of L, but rather we see O is repeating. Yes, it's over here. So O is also repeating twice. We check for V. Is V repeating twice? No. So that is the index we are going to return. So V is present in the index 2. So we will print 2. So similarly it keeps on going, but in this example we see that both are repeating, A and B are repeating, so we are going to return -1 because there is no character which is not repeating in the string. So here we see that I've just explained the same thing. So we return 1 if what is this? Oh, we just return its index if something is present, else we return -1. Example over here, AB. So we see that A is also repeating, B is also repeating, so we are going to return -1. And now let's take our string as DEFED. So let's just take it as our string. So the methodology we are going to use to solve this question is that first we are going to make a frequency array. Okay. So first let's just make this array over here. We're going to use arrays, and for each character there are 26 characters, letters in the English alphabet. So let's just initialize our array to 26 positions or spaces. So what's going to happen is that A, okay, we know that our ASCII value of A is 97 and Z is small z and small a. So small z is 122. So what we're going to do is we're going to store each and every character in our string inside this frequency array. So how are we going to store? I mean, on what basis are we going to store our characters in our inputted string into the frequency array? So the basis will be that for example, a minus a. Okay, the ASCII value I'm talking about. So ASCII value of a is 97. So 97 minus 97 is 0. So we're just going to subtract a from each and every character inside our input string. So we do not have ABC inside our input string. We actually have just what do we have? We have DEF, right? Yes, we have DEFED. So we have DEF. So what we're going to do is we're going to subtract minus a from all the characters. So a minus a is 0. So b minus a is 1. C minus a is 99 minus 97 is 2. And for example, d minus a I have not written here, but d minus a will be 3. Okay, because d will be 100, so 100 minus 97 will be 3. Similarly, e will be 4, f will be 5. So what happens is, what are these values exactly? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's actually the index of the R frequency array. So inside 0 we will store A, and inside the index of 1 we are going to store B, inside the index of 2 we are going to store the character C, inside the index of 3 in our frequency array we are going to store our character D, inside the index of 4 we are going to store E as a character inside the frequency array, and similarly inside the index of 5 we are going to store our character F inside this frequency array, and it keeps going on until 26. So all the 26 letters will definitely be stored. If the letter is not available inside our input string, that is this, only D, E, F, E, D. So D, E, F are only the three that is the three characters that are available. So only D, E, F will be some number other than 0. Others all will have the frequency as 0. Initially it will be initialized as 0. So we are going to just manipulate the D, E, F. We are just going to increment the value of the DEF variable um, in concordance with the frequency that's appearing inside our input string. So if d appears twice means our count of d will also be incremented, so it will come to 2. And similarly, if f occurs only once, it will just be 1. It won't be incremented to 2. So how we are going to do is that, so if frequency is 1, then if frequency of a character is 1, so we check here that, so there are two traversals here. The first traversal is just to what we're going to do is just to update the frequency of the frequency array of the we're just going to update the frequency of the characters inside the frequency array. And in the second traversal we are going to check, second traversal will be totally from for checking. So what are we going to check is that we're going to check whether our frequency is 1. Okay, we're going to check our frequency is 1. If our frequency of a character is 1, then we return its index. We want to return the index inside the frequency array. Sorry, we're going to return the index inside our input string. So we're just going to traverse from left to right actually. So by following all this, we use the ASCII value and to calculate the position of the character. So this is really important. So we have to calculate the position of a character. How we can do that? To calculate the position of the characters from all the 27 characters basically. So from A to Z, we are going to calculate the position of the character using the ASCII values. So we know from our information that is given, that is 97 and 122, we can see that we have to subtract a from all the characters inside our input string to find its own position. So let's moving on to the code. We can just code it as follows. So let's just take a vector. Vector is a resizable array basically. So we can resize our array as per our whims and fancies. So let's just name it as freak, and let's give it as 26, 0, because there are 26 letters in our English alphabet. I'm sorry. Then let's get inside a for loop. Inside the for loop, we're going to start with the index int I is equal to 0. I will start with 0. Then s of I is not equal to an empty space, and then we increment our I until our s of I is not equal. If our s of I becomes equal to an empty space, that means we have come to the end of our string. So basically, what /0 is the end of the string. It means that we have encountered an end of the string, and we shall stop our iterations, or we shall just get out of the for loop. So inside this, we are going to use our frequency array. So that will be I. So we are going to subtract a, as I mentioned before. Why? Why are we subtracting a? So that we can store the characters or the elements inside the frequency array based on their positions. So it's basically for determining their positions inside the frequency array, because everything needs to have a unique position, right? We cannot just store characters in the same position. Different characters are in the same position, it's not possible. So each character will be given a unique position to store its frequency inside. So another for loop, this is our second traversal. This is our main traversal basically. Actually, both are important, but this is going to be our determining traversal, that is for checking. So this one will be the same condition. I'll just copy this until it reaches the end of the string. So it has to complete its traversal until the end. We can't just leave in the middle. And we're going to have a condition. We're going to have a checking condition over here. If frequency, that is this thing, that is the frequency array. If that frequency array, and we subtract a from this, so that we get the index of inside the frequency array. If that is equal to 1, right? Our condition that is that it should be equal to 1. That is, it shouldn't occur more than once. That is, it shouldn't be repeating. If it is 2, 3, or 4, it means that that character has repeated twice or thrice or 4 times. So if it is only 1, that means the character has occurred only once. So that is the meaning of our 1 here over here. So only if our character has occurred only once, then only we have to return. What should we return? We should return I, that is our index inside the input string. So we have to return the index inside the input string. Else, if we cannot find anything, that's nothing that is not repeating. That is, there's nothing that is unique. Everything is repeating, everything is non-unique. So we are just going to return -1 because there's nothing. So when none of the conditions satisfy, we are going to return -1. There is an error here. Sorry, it should be int. So that is our resizable array, and now I just submitted. So thank you for watching.